Good evening, one and all. We welcome you all to the international webinar series on holistic health, well-being, and sustainable development 2025, commemorating Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, nation celebrating 77 years of independence and United Nations Sustainable Development Goals 2015 to 2030, and Viksit Bharat at 2047 as part of awareness and campaigns in collaboration with Sri Holistic Health Foundation India and Sri Research Institute Center for Art, Sciences and Wellbeing. Before we start our sessions, let's take the blessings of Almighty.
आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शत्रुबुद्धिविनाशाय दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः
With the blessings of Almighty, we shall continue with today's commemorations and celebrations. Today, we are commemorating International Day for Universal Access to Information and also World Rabies Day. So, on this occasion, we are having international webinar on pets, dogs, rabies, health, well-being, and sustainable development. So as part of this, we'll be first looking at the commemorations, and then we will get into detail about World Rabies Day, which is sponsored by Rabies Alliance across the world. So this year, the theme for the World Rabies Day is Act Now, You, Me, and Community. So we'll get back to the events after some time of commemorations. So today, as we are celebrating and commemorating International Day for Universal Access to Information, and this is all about one of the aspects of this entire international webinar series that is being conducted every day from 6 p.m. onwards, and which is freely accessible, affordable to everyone, as there is no registration fees for anyone, and all those who are completing the formalities will be awarded with a e-certificate. So there is free registration for all the events, free participation, free presentations, free collaborations, and quality presentations will be provided with free publications on the platform. So as part of this, you can also collaborate, and that is also free. So why free? Because it should be accessible for everyone, affordable for everyone. Then only it can reach a wider audience. Because today we are talking about International Day of Universal Access to Information. Information should be accessible everyone. Information should be shared with everyone. So that is the one of the motives of this platform, is to spread information that should that in turn should be transformed into knowledge, and when knowledge is taken in right sense and applied into the practical world, it becomes wisdom. So that is one of the aims, and today we are commemorating and celebrating International Day for Universal Access to Information on 28th September every year. So this year the theme is ensuring access to environmental information in the digital age, because we see there are a lot of human disasters that is happening around the world, and climate change, which is affecting each and everyone on the planet. So the theme for the 2025 observance focuses on the vital importance of timely, comprehensive, and cross-border access to environmental information in an increasingly digital world. So here, a global conference on universal access to information is being organized on 29th and 30th September 2025. That is from tomorrow and day after tomorrow. Environmental data encompassing climate change, pollution, biodiversity, and disaster risk transcends national borders and necessitating collaborative, transparent, and innovative global sharing of information. Access to information is particularly important for populations at risk at environmental disaster and climate change. This theme also highlights how digital technologies and open data platforms can enhance public access, foster transparency, and empower citizens and stakeholders to participate meaningfully in environmental governance and sustainable development. Universal access to information to foundational for transparent, participatory, and accountable governance. Access to environmental information is crucial in this context. So it is deeply linked to the international environmental governance framework such as Paris Agreement of 2015 and the Rio Declaration on Environment and Development in 1992. The international instruments provide a legal and informative foundation supporting citizens' rights to know and enabling governments to uphold accountability in environmental policies. So 2024 UNESCO Survey on Public Access to Information, a report is available. UNESCO reports on progress on the adoption and the implementation of access to information laws. The UNESCO Survey on Public Access to Information has proven to be useful for countries as they can track progress in implementing SDG 16.10.2. So, access to information. Informed citizens can make informed decisions. For instance, when going to the polls, only when citizens know how they are governed can hold their governments accountable for their decisions and actions. Information is power. Therefore, universal access to information is a cornerstone of healthy and inclusive knowledge societies. Universal access to information means that everyone has a right to seek, receive, and impart information. The right is an integral part of the right of freedom of expression. The media plays a crucial role in the public about issues of the interest, but it relies on the ability to seek and receive information too. Hence, the right to universal access to information is also bound up with the right to freedom of the press. So on November 2015, the United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization, UNESCO, declared 28 September as International Day for Universal Access to Information, considering that several civil society organizations and government bodies in the world have adopted and currently celebrate the observance. The UN General Assembly also adopted 28 September 2019 as an International Day for Universal Access to Information. UNESCO and its intergovernmental programs, the International Program for Development of Communication and the Information for All program, provides a platform and frame for all the stakeholders to participate in international discussion on policy and guidelines in the area access to information. Both programs also enable positive environment for ATI to flourish through the development of projects aimed to strengthen open science, multilingualism, ICTs for disabled and marginalized, and media and information literacy. So the UNESCO International Program for the Development of Communication, IPDC, provides support for media projects and seeks an accord on to secure a healthy environment for the growth of and the free and pluralistic media in developing countries. So the IPDC strives to realize more effective media projects that empower people to gain equitable access to knowledge and express themselves through free and pluralistic media. Sustainable Development Goals for Communication and Information, inclusive knowledge societies are the way forward as they build on the sum of the human ingenuity, technical innovation, and the power of information and knowledge. They have the potential to take us all forward to a new era of peace and sustainable development. UNESCO's work contributes to SDG 16 by promoting peaceful and inclusive societies, ensuring public access to information, and protecting fundamental freedoms. So today, we are also commemorating International or World Rabies Day. On this occasion, I invite Mr. Pradeep to take over for the session on rabies, and then after that session, I will be continuing the sessions for further commemorations and celebrations. So, Mr. Pradeep is an animal welfare and rights activist and also campaigner. He is almost a decade serving the animal welfare and an animal activist who is proactive in taking up various issues related to animal rights and animal welfare. And he is also financial advisor and consultant. So we welcome you, Mr. Pradeep, for your session. And over to you.
Thank you, Ravindra sir, for a wonderful introduction. Hello, everyone. Am I audible to everyone?
Yes, Pradeep, we can see you.
Yeah, thanks a lot, sir. So today is the World Rabies Day. So every year, September 28th is being celebrated as World Rabies Day to raise awareness about rabies. So in this today's presentation, I will be briefing you about what actually is rabies and also how we can all together contribute for a rabies-free India. So, sir, next slide. So here, as I said, we will talk about what is rabies and what animals could get rabies. And that means which are the animals potentially they can get affected by rabies. And thirdly, how to behave with the dogs. We have because understanding the dog behavior and also behaving with the dogs can also help us to prevent dog bites. And finally, we'll talk about the importance of vaccination, how the vaccination plays an pivotal role in halting the disease of the rabies to the sustainable health for both animals and humans. So moving further ahead, so what actually is rabies? Rabies is a zoonotic disease which is caused by Lassa virus. So it is a bullet-shaped virus which actually caused by through the infected bite or scratch of an animal. So normally, which animals could cause the rabies? You might have this doubt also. Okay, wow, what actually are the animals could potentially be a barrier for rabies. So when we look about what are the animals could potentially get affected by rabies, any warm-blooded animals, any warm-blooded mammals, any warm-blooded mammals may get rabies. So this could include dogs, cats, cattle, even cows and buffaloes, and bats and raccoons. So in India and Asian countries, mostly dog-mediated rabies has become more prevalent. So, like I said in the slide, animals potentially get rabies. There could be any warm-blooded mammals. So this include dog, cat, cattle, bat, and raccoons. So as I also told you that the potentially mostly in India and Asian countries, the dog-mediated rabies is a bigger problem. So here is a map of the across the world, how much the rabies has impacted. So if you talk about Indian subcontinent, in India, around every year, 59,000 deaths occur due to only rabies, dog-mediated rabies, and every second, 1 in 9 person dies due to rabies. And among them, 4 to 10 of them are 4 out of 10 are children. Mostly they are vulnerable due to their rabies. So, so Pradeep, you have talked about what actually is rabies, and you have spoken about uh, the animals which are causing about rabies, and you also talk about the statistical data about rabies. So now you might have also had doubt, like what are the symptoms of rabies in dogs? So potentially, when we speak about symptoms in dogs, so normally the infected dog, which may have been affected by the rabies, will have the hydrophobia. That means the dog will not drink water, and it is a scared of water, and at the same time it will have an unsteady walk. That it will move here and there, like the dog may not be able to have a proper motor skills. It will move somewhere, some here and there, and he will fall down. And other thing is that dog will bite random objects like stone, any object which is because it cannot see properly, and so it will bite the objects like wood or even a wood, even a wood or stone, or even any object, or even animals, or even humans also. So you have spoken about, Pradeep, you have spoken about the rabies symptoms in dogs. So what actually are about humans? So whenever a bite has happened in humans, uh, they will have a symptoms like hydrophobia, and also they will like as the symptom progresses, will have the fever and also headaches, and also feel at the same time potential even very extreme cases, the person may also die. So, sir, next slide, sir. So how to protect us from dog bites? The simple and foremost thing is we need to understand the behavior of the dog, how we should be behavior of the dogs, especially children. Nowadays, children are like they have a very special bond with the dogs. When they see the dog, they will go and touch it, they pamper it. That's okay. But after that, they will start like pulling the dog's ears and also pulling the tail. So what had happens is whenever these such actions has been performed, so the dog will get, obviously it gets irritated. Similar the how some person, for example, if a person is there, X person is there, if he's always he's pulling his ears, and he's also always uh, hitting with stone and all, how what it happens on a protective mechanism, the person will get angry and will give a like nice slap. or even sometime, or he will growl, he will shout. So similarly, here in the dogs also, whenever such actions have been performed, it will instantly growl at the person, saying that, hey, it is not an acceptable behavior. Still, then children may not understand it and they approaches them. What happens is there is a chance of getting a dog bite at that time. And at the same time, whenever the children, what actually they will do is they pelt a stone at the dogs. So this should not be done, because uh, it may get hurt, and potentially uh, with anger, or it may bite the children also. And that's the reason majority of the dog bites happen. They are actually provoked dog bites, not and potentially dogs will not bite any individual, except certain rare cases, such as there is an imprint on the dogs, such as they have acquired some qualities from the mother, which is a ferocious dogs, aggressive dogs. So certain dogs, they might bite, but majority of the dogs are docile in nature, and it's the human induced provoked behavior which leads to a dog bite. So, and as the picture shows that in the first one, you have seen that children are pelting stones. So what it happens when children pelt the stones? Normally normally the dog get injured, so it howls with pain. Out of the pain, it will go and bite the children. And second thing is, never and never run in front of a dog. When you run in front of the dog, dogs are like they cannot have that vision like us. So what it happens is, when something has run, it feels like, okay, it is some animal, or it may be a rat, it may be a cat or something, some object is running. It is not such visible, such in circumstances. So what happens is it also runs, and at the same time, out of the fear, it may also bite also. And the third one is, when you are putting a food to your dog, never and ever touch the food bowls, because dogs are territorial. So they will have this behavior, territorial behavior. So they will mark their locations or locality or environment, says that, okay, this is my territory and this is my place. So if someone enters into the territory, especially with the food bowls, when they are eating, so when you are trying to take the food bowl, then if immediate action is, sometimes they'll give a trigger response, like something like they'll give it in form of a growl, or else they'll bite, the bite and leave it. So you should never and ever take a football from whenever, even if it's a pet dog also, when you are feeding it. So please be mindful. Likewise, how we mark our territory, like humans, how we feel uncomfortable if someone comes and takes a plate while we are eating. How we will feel? We'll feel little bit uncomfortable, right? The similar way, in canine world, dogs also, they will mark their territory. So it is all it is one should also always remember that situation and act accordingly. And the third thing is, a lot of the times, children, what will happens is, when they have a puppies, when mother delivered puppies and all, so they'll see the cuteness of the puppies and they try to take away puppies from the mother. So at that time also, the children get bites, because since the mother dog is there, he have a protective nature towards her kids. So for instance, I will explain in a humane manner so that we can understand by better manner. So for example, let's say there is a child who is a 2 to 3 months old and all. So you actually went to the child, and you just picked up from his mother lap suddenly. So what it actually happens, the mother will get also like, who are you? How? who are you, why you taken my child. So she will have that protective nature, right? So similarly for the dogs also, they are very much protective towards their offsprings, I mean the puppies. So never and never take the puppies from their mother. So they have a bonding and they are also very protective nature. So and whenever you are going when a dog encounters, so you should always stand like an erected tree, like a statue, so that it will smells and it will go away. And other aspect is whenever the dog comes to here, we should be like a we should be like a rock. How the rock will be, so you can in the picture if you can see last one, uh, it is being demonstrated over there. So you should be like a rock so that the dog will smell and go away. Next slide, sir. So now there comes Pradeep, you have spoken about rabies, you are talking about the animals who get rabies, and also you explain about the symptoms. You have explained about the symptoms, potential symptoms in dogs, and also the humans who have get bitten by the dog. And you also explained about the dog behavior, how we should have to be with the dog, and also their how the children should be well behaved with the dogs. So now I'm going to explain about the vaccination part. Vaccination plays very important role about the animal health, and at this and it also paves path for human health also. So whenever you have got any pet, like say when you are in a when it's in a puppyhood, so there are certain vaccinations, and also you need to also first initial stage is a puppy dewormer. A dewormer is something nothing but it helps the like any like any worms are there in the stomach. So intestines, any problem, tapeworms or anything is there. So it will help the puppy to the deworming helps out to get it out of the worms. And once that deworming has been done, so we will have the one vaccine called 7-in-1 vaccine. That is 7 diseases, one vaccine. So once it has been administered, after the 40 till 45 days, you should always keep your animal, I mean puppy, in the home in the premises itself. You should not get take outside because as the anti-rabies vaccine is not done, there may be a chance that the dog may get bite and or some sort of things will be happening. So it is wise and advisable. You better keep the animal or whatever puppy or a dog in the house premises itself. After 45 days, you can take the animal to another mini. You can take the puppy to the hospital. So where the veterinarian checks its body temperature, whether it's have a good health or not. And because if we had a fever and all, the vaccine may not work out. So, so at that time, so what actually does this veterinarian checks its health parameters like its body weight and how it's any ticks are there. You will take ticks and fleas are there. He will check it, and also after that, he will check the temperature. Normal temperature for an pet is like for us we have a 99.9 degrees Fahrenheit, right? So for animals it will have the starting from the 102, 103 will have that. So you'll check the temperature, and once it is no temperature and everything is good, then he will administer the anti-rabies vaccine. So once the anti-rabies vaccine is administered, uh, you should always accompany your pet. Never think that, okay, my pet will go outside and it will come. It may get also beaten. Okay. So it will always, you should take out with a, when you are taking for a walk or anything, you need to be vigilant because sometimes the dog may also get escape or sometimes it may within the chase. That means escape means in the sense of during the process of chasing an animal, it may get lost. We have received a lot of couple of lost pet dogs also. Many of the majority of the pet parents, what they will do is, we will release the dog, and anyway the dog will come to our place. It will not be like that, because they are in a their dogs are like they are carnivores, and at the same time they are like they will chase everything. They would like to go outside, fetch. So they would like to see the environment, explore the environment. So once you are not vigilant, if you are not taking care of that, if you are not being vigilant, you will expect that okay, my dog will come to me. No, that it will not be there. So we should always ensure that you should always put your dog on leash, and also be vigilant while you are taking a walk, especially when there is no anti-rabies vaccination is done. It is all advisable to keep your pet in the home itself. So every year we'll have the vaccinations, annual vaccinations will be there. So we'll have the corona vaccine and also 7-in-1 anti-rabies. So these are the 7-in-1 and anti-rabies are must for our dog every year. And every monthly we need to give a deworming. For puppies, it will be having a puppy dewormer. And for adult dogs, based on its weight, the doctor veterinarian will suggest it how much it may be half tablet, one tablet. They will tell it, and accordingly you need to do the deworming part. So Pradeep, you have explained about rabies. We were talking about everything, the animals which spread rabies, and you also discussed about the number of deaths, and you also talk about the you have briefed about a lot of things related to how to be safe with dogs, and also the importance of the vaccination. So how can we prevent rabies? How can we challenge the rabies? So here comes the question is, every individual can play a part in preventing rabies. Rabies, the good news is rabies is a vaccine preventable disease. Once the symptoms appear, we can't do anything. But if you can vaccinate your pets, you can vaccinate your pet dogs, you can vaccinate your community dogs, it will then we call it as a herd immunity. So the herd immunity will be there, and at the same time, your pets will be healthy, and your pet dog, and also your community dogs will also get healthy. Once they are healthy, we are healthy also. So, like sustainable development goals, if you talk about good health and well-being, it pays for the good health and well-being. So, vaccination plays a pivotal role in preventing rabies. And at the same time, vaccination coupled with education, like the sessions we now am doing it. So awareness programs, public awareness programs, school level education programs, community level sensitization programs, and community level vaccination drives. Most of the NGOs and also other organizations, even in World Zoonosis Day, also government hospitals, they give free anti-rabies vaccination, so you can avail that services. And mostly many of the country nowadays they're organizing free vaccination camps, so they will come and vaccinate. You can approach your NGO, nearest NGO. They will be more than happy to help you out. So in that way, collectively, you are making your community a rabies-free community. So remember, rabies is a tropically neglected disease. It is also a vaccine preventable disease. But our collective action should be there. So vaccination prevents them rabies. You and me and everyone. So we are part of the solution, not a problem. And thank you for everyone for listening me. Uh, Thanks a lot, Ravinder sir, for this wonderful opportunity. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Pradeep, for insightful session on this World Rabies Day. As this is also a breeding season, we need to be very careful, especially and not only with the dogs, but also the puppies, especially taking care of their health. And as already Pradeep has mentioned, approaching puppies, especially uh, because they are not used to, and as the dogs are also very protective of their uh, puppies. So we should be very careful approaching. And those puppies also in the community, especially, we see this season a lot of growth of dogs through reproduction. So we need to properly take care of their health also, because taking care of their health is indirectly taking care of our health. Because if they are disease free, if they are virus free, they are bacteria free, then our community also will be free from diseases, because we will be interacting with them, right? They will be in our community in and around, and we'll be interacting with them. They will be interacting with us because we share common places, common environment. So it is very much essential, as Mr. Pradeep has mentioned, to take care of them. Whenever you see a dog delivered puppies, then you also ensure that those puppies are taken care and properly vaccinated. You inform to the nearest government veterinary officer or office, so that they have a record, and follow up with them to get them vaccinated. Otherwise, call some helpline. They will also be assisting you in what to do, and approach them carefully. Especially take help of animal welfare. Those who are looking about or those who are looking for animals, or those who are helping animals in your community. Someone might be feeding, or someone might be more comfortable with the animals around in your locality, in your community especially. So watch out for them. You can also help them, take help from them and use their assistance to provide vaccination in time, because vaccination is very crucial. Because unless and until our animals, especially, are healthy around in our environment, it can cause potential threats to the environment as well as to us. And especially, when dogs are properly vaccinated, as Pradeep was addressing, even while playfully, when you are interacting, when dogs are interacting with you, even playful scratches, at times, not unintentional bites, because it doesn't want to bite, but in the process of interaction, or in the process of play, if it gets bite out, if you are bitten also, or if there is some scratch also, there is not much harm if that is vaccinated, and you can immediately take vaccination. And also dog also can be vaccinated for booster dose. So if there are any symptoms, or even if there are no symptoms also, it is always advisable that both of you get vaccinated. Because when we are interacting, even pet parents are also advised to get their anti-rabies vaccination once in a year or so. Because even though pets are vaccinated, it is not 100% safe. Even vaccination is also not 100% safe. No vaccination in this world is 100% safe. At the same time, because over the period, dogs are also interacting, it is always good that timely vaccination is done for the dogs, and also at the same time, in the community also it is very much essential for the community residents to take care of their dogs especially, because other species which Mr. Pradeep was also talking, like raccoons, and bats, those are uncommon unless and until you venture into some isolated places or, wildlife forest or somewhere, you will be interacting with them. Otherwise, the common, targets are generally the dogs. So it is very much essential that we keep them vaccinated and we keep ourselves also vaccinated if required, as suggested by the medical professional. Thank you, Mr. Pradeep, once again for joining us on this occasion and sharing your insights on World Rabies Day. And we wish you all the success for your future endeavors. So with this, we will move forward. So we request everyone to quickly fill up the feedback, registration form, and we'll be also sharing the feedback form at the end of the session. It is mandatory to fill the feedback form as well as the registration form and ensure that all the details which are required has to be filled, because we observe sometimes participants are not filling their details properly. In that case, you will not also get an option to edit or resend the details, because you are also unsure whether you have completed or not, and we at once generate all the certificates, and it is not possible to again create certificates individually because it's a time consuming process, and we all are running behind tight schedules, so it will not be possible for us to individually look at because of time constraints, because every day, as you can see, every day we have a program, every day we need to prepare for the program, organize the program, pre-program and post-program. A lot of things are there apart from our, education, training, research work, and all those academic work, and so many things are there. Like you all are doing, we also need to balance our work life. So we request everyone, those who are attending, to ensure that anyway you are attending, you are giving your valuable time and gaining lot of knowledge. It is also equally important to complete the formalities, fill all the details correctly with valid data and submit them so that we can process the data and provide certificates. See, afterwards, even if you contact us, it will be difficult for us. See, again, it's waste of time and resources for you at the first place, because again, you need to pursue that. Instead of that, at the first time itself, if you do it correctly, do it right at the first time itself, it will save a lot of time and resources for both of us. So we request everyone to fill the registration form and feedback form. So we'll be sharing you the feedback form in a while after the commemorations. As we have seen, so every 28th September, we are celebrating the World Rabies Day. And this year the theme is Act Now, You, Me and Community. So this year we are also marking 19th World Rabies Day. So this year it is the 19th year that we are celebrating World Rabies Day. And as already mentioned, it is promoted by the Global Alliance for Rabies Control, in short known as GARC. So what does this theme this year themes convey to each and everyone, as Pradeep also presented in his presentation. It is this year's theme, Act Now, You, Me, and Communities, is calling on you, me, and our communities to take responsibility. So, what it is doing, it is calling us, all of us, to take responsibility for a rabbit free world and together work together and drive real change. So, for the first time in its 19-year history, World Rabbits Day theme does not include the word rabbits. Even every time the theme included rabbits, but this time it was excluded, showing how well established this movement has become. And whether you are an individual or organization or part of an organization or a policymaker or a decision maker, the time is to act today. Today is everyone's responsibility. Now, let's go in detail about the theme. You take action in your personal life, like vaccinating your dog, educate yourself about how to prevent rabies and pre and post exposure prophylaxis, or advocate for better policies. So it is also important that how Mr. Pradeep has, informed you or shared his knowledge on at an individual level what needs to be done, because this is a multi-layer level, policy level, at an individual level, at a community level, and at a state level, and further levels. Every level we have to ensure that someone takes responsibility, and that someone should be ourselves in the very first place, you, me, and everyone, because rabbit can spread to anyone and it is 100% preventable. Then why to take a risk? Why to take a chance? So the first word, you, take action in your person, and me. So when I am talking about me, I should lead by example. Today, now, if I question myself what I have done on this World Rabbit Day or World Rabbits Day, now I have organized an event with the collaboration of all like-minded. So I'm leading by an example by sharing this information, by creating an opportunity so that I'm at least disseminating this knowledge to all the people who are present here on this occasion, right? So when we are talking about me, I should lead by an example. You should lead by an example, inspire others, train professionals, or support rabies elimination efforts in your country. That is what me implies here. So, me means it is me, you, everyone. So, it is you and me interchangeably. When I become you become me. When you become me, and I become you. Right? It's an interchangeable roles. And you and me together as community, we work together, organize vaccination campaigns, educate learners, and also prevent, push for stronger rabies elimination programs. So organize vaccination campaigns and educate learners and their families in your and community members, and push for stronger rabies elimination programs and policies. If there are any, try to implement them in a proper way. If there are no policies, like if there are no vaccination drives, then write to the government and write to the NGOs for conducting such a vaccination drive. Until that happens, it is your responsibility as a community. You organize or you collaborate with them, and in a sharing basis, you can collaborate until a full funded program comes up along with a policy. So it is our responsibility, right? And apart from that, focus on community engagement. So if we are united, you know, we can end all human deaths from dog-mediated rabies by 2030. So this tri-party, which is supported by FAO, WOAH, and World Health Organization, the United, and also the United Against Rabies Forum, takes a multi-sectorial One Health approach, bringing together governments, vaccine producers, researchers, NGOs, and development partners. So let's all together work towards preventing rabies. So in that way, we will be protecting ourselves and our communities. Since 2007, as this day was launched, there were a lot of initiatives that has been taken up. And let's be part of it. And apart from this, today, if you all have any questions or queries, you can feel free to ask in chat box so that we can provide you. If you have any doubts on rabies or any topics discussed till now, you are free to share or your observations, reflections. Don't have any? Okay, no problem. So I think we can assume, it is safe to assume that you have understood everything, right? Okay, done. So we'll move on to another topic as today, as planned earlier. We are also discussing about suicide prevention because September is the suicide prevention month, and September 10th we have talked in detail about suicide prevention. So today, let's see the role of pets in suicide prevention, right? So suicide has become one of the leading causes of preventable death worldwide. Like even suicides can be 100% preventable, and also this rabbit is also 100% preventable, right? So on this context, so every year we are claiming close to 8 lakhs lives every year, according to World Health Organization. And beyond the profound personal and family tragedies, suicide presents significant challenges to global public health, social cohesion, and sustainable development. While numerous risk factors such as mental illness, social isolation, unemployment, substance abuse, stigma have been identified, research also emphasizes the importance of protective factors that can foster resilience and prevent suicidal behavior. So there are, apart, because we are talking about suicides, but how to prevent them? What are different ways that also we have to focus. Now on this day, because earlier we have seen withdrawing from hazardous environments and withdrawing tools like pesticides or any sharp objects or lethal firearms and various other materials through which suicide is commonly committed. Apart from that, let's take another perspective, a positive side of prevention. You know, how we can this, how we can achieve this? Among these, the therapeutic potential of human-animal relationships that has emerged as a powerful yet unexplored area. Here, though the pets as a companions have been not new to humankind, earlier, those days, due to huge joint families and pets were never seen as pets. They were part of the family because especially cattle, cows, and, oxes, buffaloes, sheep, or whatever, they were part of the family because they were also sharing the work, especially for farmers, agriculture work in the form of transportation, in the form of, agricultural work like tilling the land or sowing and lot of activities. So that's why they were also treated as family members. Along with families, they were also working in the field and, they were part of joy and happiness, sad and everything as part of the family. So they were also taking care of them like a family member, taking care of their health and well-being and properly, maintaining hygiene and everything. And even when there is a festival, like everyone buy new clothes and, you know, embrace their presence and buy gifts and all. So in a similar way, the cows are also celebrated because they are also family members. So they are also given bath and nicely adorned with all kind of offerings, and they are served, whatever best is for them on this special occasion. So why we are talking about all this is, by maintaining their health and well-being, because they are also living beings and they also have emotions. They are also sentient beings. So when they are happy, we can also be happy. When we are happy, they are also happy, right? By seeing us, because of this intimate human-animal relationships. which has, have become very powerful. And so we will look at how, you know, pets contribute to emotional regulation, social support, routine, and a sense of responsibility that may deter suicidal ideation and behavior. So we will see how, companion animals can provide unconditional love, companionship, and a sense of purpose and non-judgmental support, and various factors that strongly linked with reduced feelings of loneliness, depression, and hopelessness. Generally, if you have a pet at your home, that is the greatest companion you have with unconditional love. You know, a pet can love you forever and with no conditions attached. And it can listen to you as long as you are speaking, and it will attend to you, and it will not judge you. See how many benefits you have with the pets. So we see pet owners are more happy than non-pet owners in a way when they are faced with their challenges, and especially when there is a crisis of human resources or human capital. So it doesn't mean that without pets you cannot be happy, but when there is no human support, pets, or along with the human support, the pets can help you to be more resilient. That's what we are talking about. So suicide, as we have seen, one of the most complex and multifaceted phenomena confronting societies worldwide. And we have seen, according to the World Health Organization, suicide is the fourth leading cause of death among young people, especially aged 15 to 29, and one of the top causes of mortality across multiple age groups. India alone contributes a significant share of global suicides, with over 1,64,000 reported cases annually, as per National Crime Records Bureau 2022. And behind these numbers lie deep human suffering. These are only just reported. Imagine how many unreported. It might be many times. And across the world also, staggering 8 lakh plus, those are reported. And imagine unreported cases across the world. So behind these numbers, it's not just numbers. See how many families, and the other part, how much human suffering at an individual level, at a family level, at a community level. And we see how a family who has lost a family member to a suicide. Imagine those disrupted families and social disintegration that happens because of suicide. Suicide is often the outcome of a complex interplay of biological, psychological, social, cultural, and environmental factors. So, traditional suicide prevention strategies have focused on medical interventions, counseling, crisis hotlines, helplines, and social awareness campaigns. While effective, these methods do not fully capture the diverse range of protective factors that can shield vulnerable individuals. Especially increasingly, scholars and practitioners have turned their attention to non traditional resources. That's why, as this entire month, we were focusing on traditional methods, suicide prevention strategies. But now, at the end of the month, anyway, next month is also commemorated as World Mental Health Month, and we are also celebrating October 10th as World Mental Health Day. Next month also we will have a lot of events on mental health, which is also equally important as physical health. So here, increasingly, we need to study and move to non-traditional resources like spirituality, therapy, art therapy, dance therapy, community engagement, community participation, and the human-animal bond. The companionship of pets has historically been valued across civilization, not only for utility, guarding, or farming, but also for emotional comfort. From dogs and cats to birds and rabbits, cows and calves and oxes and buffalo, sheep, animals are often treated as family members and confidants and sources of unconditional affection. The emotional bond may be particularly significant for individuals experiencing isolation, depression, or suicidal thoughts. Pets can anchor daily routines, instill a sense of responsibility, provide affection without judgment, and even interrupt suicidal cries through their presence. So, when we look at the past, or even when we look at the empirical evidences, the World Health Organization, and records which we have seen, and also NCRB, National Crime Record Bureau, we have seen suicide prevention has moved from risk-centered models to strength-based frameworks that emphasize protective factors, as also quoted by Klenman and Liu in 2013, and various others. So, what are these protective factors? Now, strong social support networks, that is, family, friends, and community connections, and sense of responsibility, that is, commitments to children, family, or even pets, and routines and structure daily activities that provide a purpose, and emotional regulation strategies like coping mechanisms that reduce stress, and access to care in the times of crisis. It may be physical or mental, medical, psychological, and support services, including social support services. So, pets, they provide companionship, responsibility, daily structure, and emotional support. So, these can be protective factors for suicide prevention. So, the human animal bond, as it is defined by the American Veterinary Medical Association in 2018, as a mutually beneficial and dynamic relationship between people and animals that is influenced by behaviors essential to the health and well-being of both. So here we can support with various theories like attachment theory, proposed by Bowley 1969. Pets may act as attachment figures, offering security and comfort. And biophilia hypothesis by Wilson in 1984. Humans possess an innate tendency to seek connections with other living beings, including animals, and also social support theory by Cobb in 1976. Pets provide non judgmental social support, which is critical in moments of emotional distress. So, empirical research also shows that pet ownership is associated with reduced depression, lower blood pressure, improved cardiovascular health, and decreased stress. Pets encourage play, physical activity, and affectionate interaction, all of which release oxytocin and serotonin, hormones linked to relaxation and bonding. Now, let's look at how pets are or pets can be buffers against suicide risk factors. So, pets and loneliness. So, loneliness is a well documented precursor to suicidal ideation. Studies indicate that pet ownership can reduce feelings of loneliness by providing consistent companionship. Dogs and cats or cows, for example, create a sense of presence and reduce perceptions of emptiness because you will be thinking of them and there is a routine activity with them so that you'll never feel lonely. And that also in elderly populations, pets are often described as lifelines, especially against isolation. And pets require feeding, grooming, exercise, and care. So there is a routine. These responsibilities and routines establish regular routines that help anchor individuals who might otherwise feel adrift. For someone struggling with suicidal thoughts, the obligation to care for a deep for a dependent animal can serve as a deterrent against self-harm. So pets and emotional regulation, pets offer immediate and unconditional affection, love, empathy, concern. Interactions such as petting a dog or cuddling a cat or taking care of a cow can reduce cortisol levels, stress hormones, and promote oxytocin release, improving emotional regulation, handling. The calming effect can prevent escalation of suicidal crisis. And pets can also be social facilitators. Walking a dog or engaging in community, pet activities encourages social interaction, social connection, reducing isolation, and strengthen belongs key protection factors against suicide. So animal assisted therapy, in short known as AAT, and emotional support animals, in short known as ESA, are gaining recognition as effective intervention in clinical psychology. So, AAT, animal assisted therapy, involves structured therapeutic sessions guided by trained professionals, often with therapy dogs or horses or cows or whatever the animal, which is more apt and trained for therapists. And emotional support animals refers to the animals that provide comfort to individuals with diagnosed mental health conditions. So research showed that AAT improves mood, reduces anxiety, and enhances treatment adherence in depression and PTSD patients. And when we look at the Eastern and Western perspectives, even in Western societies, pets are widely integrated into family life. The US, for example, has well documented programs of service animals, guide animals for veterans with PTSD and depression. Such programs often highlight reductions in suicidal ideation among participants. Even in Indian context or Eastern context, India presents a mixed picture. On one hand, cultural traditions often revere animals like they are worshipped and they are taken care as family members, like cows and dogs are also worshipped as Bhairavas and birds in folk practices. And we can see every god is associated with one animal, one plant, and one, various elements of the nature. On the other, urban rural divides and economic disparities influence pet ownership. So, pets and mental health in India remains limited, but emerging studies now are coming up as pets provide crucial emotional support for urban youth, especially elderly people living alone and individuals in distress. Now, Do you have any thoughts that are pondering? You can share in chat box. You can discuss. Till now, whatever we have discussed, or if you have any observation, you can also share. So now, when we are talking of empirical evidences, so we need to, measure. So we need to conduct research. So there are a lot of case studies that has been done. I'm not getting into that in detail due to time constraints. And we will also look into that in detail in coming days. We have special programs and workshops, webinars that are coming up on these themes. So now I would like to briefly tell you or share with you. We have few scales or tools or instruments like Beck scale for suicide ideation, BSS, which measures intensity of suicidal thoughts, through which we assess the suicidal thoughts in clients. And we have multidimensional scale of perceived social support, MSPSS, which is used to assess perceived support from family, friends, and significant others. And we also have hopeless scale by Beck uh, and Becken et al. Evaluates negative expectations about the future. And we have pet attachment and life impact scale, adapted to measure attachment levels and perceived benefits of pets. So, and we also have various other instruments, and these are commonly used in combination. So, we can use these tools and instruments to assess. And apart from that, we can have structured and semi-structured guides and questionnaires which can be collected and analyzed quantitatively as well as quantitatively. Both thematic analysis, descriptive analysis, or descriptive statistics, and t-test, correlation, regression analysis can be performed based on the need, and the findings can be used and shared, right? So here, we have conducted few studies earlier also. So yeah, very good question. Despite spirituality associated with animals, why does Indian present cruelty towards animals, and why India having street vendor animals? It's a good question. Why we are behaving? We all are Indians, right? Maybe most of us, or even because from abroad also people are joining. So why? Now we have to question ourselves why. Because not everyone is following the same religion. That is, or same spirituality or the same belief system. See, the problem here comes with their belief system. Let me address, say, certain belief systems I'm not criticizing or I'm not appreciating any religious system as such, but as part of discussion, we see in Hinduism, especially, where every god is associated with an animal, with a plant, and with some food offering on a particular date. Why? Because every day, if you take all the 7 days, every day we have one or other god associated. Basically, God is an embodiment, our feelings, thoughts, emotions, our aspirations, our visualizations, and so on. Right? So, whenever we take any god in Hinduism, because in other religion there is no such association. So, other belief system, there is not much association. You can't say there is no mention about that. But see, unfortunately, in other religions, especially take Jesus, where he was born. He was born in the cattle shed, right? But most of the Christians consume meat, sheep meat, goat meat, the same cattle where Jesus was born. If that was a pious place, then no one should harm those animals, right? Because it is the place and they are companions of God, right? And even if you take in a philosophical sense, even if they are treated as family members, now you cannot kill your own family members and eat them. Is that possible? No, I'm just sharing a possibility. I'm just sharing a perspective. So to this query, so no, right? So that is, that is a problem even in India, or you take anywhere in the world. Every system, every religion, because many religions are there, especially you take Jainism, Buddhism, and they do not promote violence, especially. They try to keep themselves away from consuming animals. Why? Because they don't want any kind of killing or violence. Violence not even to humans, but also no violence against animals. If they promote animal, consumption of non-vegetarian food, again they are promoting violence, killings of animals, right? So they restrain. That's why you see most of the Jains and most of the Buddhists, they don't eat animals. Their diet doesn't comprise of any non-vegetarian. Why? Because they do not want to promote any violence. That belief system is against violence. Violence against humans as well as violence against animals or anything is prohibited. Now you can see Hinduism, because they are revered as, so they don't harm generally. Most nowadays, what happened? So now coming to Islam, and they have a lot of sacrifices and they consume a lot of meat. So the problem here comes with certain religious systems or belief systems. They consume every day, almost every day, or almost most of the days in a week, they consume a lot of animals. They kill a lot of animals. How animal will come onto your plate. There is a lot of animal cruelty. There is a lot of animal, killings, sufferings that are there. So these are preventable, 100%. Right? We have alternative choices. Earlier days was different. Earlier days, when we look at our ancient period where we were hunters, food gatherers, right? Those days, we did not know how to cultivate, right? So what we did, we hunted. Those our Stone Age, before Stone Age, when humans evolved. Whatever we got it, we consumed because that was the survival instinct. At that time, choices were fewer. So whatever it was available, maybe plants or shrubs or fruits, vegetables, or even animals, whichever is edible, whichever is consumable, humans hunted them, extracted them, and fed on them. But over a period of time, we had alternative choices, like we started cultivation, right? When we started cultivation and we started farming, we had more of choices. Like we have learned how to cultivate different crops, which were initially wild, but domesticated later on. Now we had more choices. So now we need not kill any animal as such for the sake of food. Why we were killing earlier as hunters? To feed ourselves and to feed our companions, right? But now there are different choices now. We need not kill any animal for the sake of food. We have other alternative choices like plant-based. So why not move on to plant-based food? Because here animals are also sentient beings like us. They also have feelings, they also have emotions, they also feel pain, they also feel joy, they also feel happiness, sorrow. So why to put them into suffering, cruelty? Why that cruelty towards them when they have their own right to live? And moreover, what we are doing here, see, some people have, I have seen many people, animals were raised and killed. Animals are generally, existent in our communities and families. They are not tortured. They are not, treated in a inhumane way, right? Even before this culture came, animals were part of the family. We have seen how cattle, they are seen as family members. They never killed animal because will you kill your own family member? No one wants to, right? No one wants to kill their own family member because it's a great loss also, na? For our family member. If we lose one family member, it's a great loss for the entire family, like how we are losing for suicide. So that's why they are very well taken care of, because their health, if one of the family member is ill, you know how much it affects. First of all, productivity is lost and everyone is worried about them and someone needs to take care of them. So this becomes a burden to the family. So that's why everyone, including animals, whatever it may be cows, it may be oxes, it may be buffaloes, it may be sheep, goats, hens, everyone has a role to play because they all provide organic fertilizer. right? Apart from this love, affection, everything is there as a family member. They not only provide all these, they also provide essential nutrients, and they also provide support like transportation from farm to house and from house to market or market to farm, a human transportation, goods transportation, and also even they are used for various other purposes in agricultural activities, and also used for community purposes, like when there are roads to be laid, or the ponds needs to be regenerated, and so on, for community service also. So they were properly taken care. But nowadays, what is happening? We have come with so many machines and all. So their contribution also got reduced. We have alternative choices. We are moving towards more humane methods. So now it is not required that to put animals into workforce, right? Now we have alternatives, and we have clean energy initiatives. So it's also like solar, where we can generate electricity. It is abundant. We are gifted with lot of sun rays, heat, light, and we can use EV cars, or even before this, all these things we can run with water, vehicles, steam engines, right? That was more friendly. But even to heat that water, that was unconventional, because at that time, whatever available in those periods, coal was used. Now we have different methods of heating. And the best part is we can heat, we can use solar to heat the water, and with the same, instead of heating the water and generating, or using hydro, without heating, we can use hydropower to generate energy. So we can directly use solar energy, or we can use hydel energy to run the machines, to run the tools. So now we have a lot of alternatives. So we need to think in more humane way. So only those who, especially, see, why I'm talking about all this is the philosophy, I mean the religious system or the belief system, whichever people are following, if in that itself, if animals are not included, animals are not revered, animals are not, given divinity, imbibed divinity, then the problem comes here. See, that is why nowadays, what is happening across the world? See, like in Hinduism, where every animal, every plant, even every forest, every natural entity is treated as God. Not only entity, even a rock can be treated as God. If you find some wooden block can be treated as God. Because why? They are all part of nature and environment, right? We need to protect our environment. What is happening now? Environment, natural resources are destroyed because we don't see God in plants. So forests are destroyed, trees are cut, pulled down, cracked down, because we don't see any divinity there. And you see, we are seeing the freshwater resources like rivers are getting polluted because we don't see divinity in them. Because we have seen from ages, how our civilization started based on river valley civilizations only, right? Indus, Mesopotamian, and Child, and various, civilizations, how they started? They started where water was. So water is very much essential. And on the planet also we know how much of fresh water is there? Only 3%, right? Only 3% of fresh water. And that also, why we call it as sacred rivers? No, why rivers were worshipped? Why these Kumbh Melas, Mahakumbh Mela, Ardha Kumbh Mela, why these were created? Because to protect the rivers, to not to pollute rivers. Why all these rivers were given, goddess names like Ganga, Saraswati, Yamuna, Kaveri? Because to protect them, because they are the lives of the civilizations. Without water, without fresh water, anyone can survive. But what is they need to understand, we all need to understand the philosophy behind these scientific, thoughts. Though in those times, people thought, today we are talking about sustainable development. Today we are talking about sustainable development goals, right? Why? Because whatever we are doing till now was not sustainable. We are seeing Earth has survived, the planet Earth has survived through millions and billions of years, right? Our Earth is so much old. But the modern science, when we say the modern science, is just 300 years old, 300 or 350 years old, right? Maximum. So within these 300 years, we have destroyed the planet. It is not my statement. It is a statement made by World Health Organization, United Nations. And this decade, that is 2020 to 2030, is marked by the United Nations as decade of restoration. That is, we are almost in the verge of destroying the entire planet. And that's why today we are paying for the climate change. So whatever till now, I'm not criticizing the development that has happened, but whatever the best thing we could do, we have done it in those times because there was no other alternative. Even if there was alternative also, that was costly or that was not affordable, that was not accessible. So that's the reason we have chosen the other alternatives which compromised our future generations' possibilities and opportunities. Today, imagine, now we have seen fossil fuels. Many of the fossil fuel reserves are depleting, right? So, tomorrow, next generation will not see fossil fuel. That means no petrol, no kerosene, no diesel, or any of the fossil fuels. They will not be able to see because all of them are getting extracted now and used. So, in future, because how much time it will take for the Earth, planet Earth, to generate diesel or kerosene or any petroleum, crude petroleum product? It took thousands and thousands of years, right, to produce coal naturally. Now, though we are producing all these things in lab, but they are not natural. They have their own consequences, side effects, adversities we are creating, but that has a lot of impact. So all these things, see, we may sell, that is trash, this is trash, that is not scientific, but everything is scientific only. But we need to have a proper lens, proper perspective to look at through that scientific lens how earlier days, in those days, where we had limited access to technology, limited access to machinery. In those days only, they have devised, because it's not just because it was not there. Even those days also, if they wanted, they could have advanced. We had everything. Today, we are not able to build a proper, building which is stable. Earlier, if you see, there were huge temples. Even today, no one can replicate those temples. No modern engineer can design such a temple, right? If you see, all these structures are very simple structures. Can you see? Have you ever observed? Have any country has built something like a temple? Replicated some complex structures with so many geometrical, trigonometrical, symmetrical shapes, curves. Very difficult. No matter, no developed country also, even US also cannot build a temple. So all are like geometrical shapes. Now all are like pyramids, very easy, anglers. And you see the modern architecture, right? So all these are very simple structures, easy to build, no complexity. But earlier, there was no huge cranes and all. They used elephants, they used a lot of other animals to bring or transport those huge rocks, pillars. Just imagine, now we have all these and still not able to use the technology and not able to build. At that time itself, we had the chemistry, advanced physics, advanced meteorology, with perfection. Huge temples which were built almost 1,000 years ago, 2,000 years ago. Our modern science is just 300 years. Right? Then what science was there at that time when this modern science was not there? Right? It was ancient science from ancient scriptures. It is from Vedas. Whatever today modern science is there, all are derived from the Vedas only. Vedic, that our Indian ancient sciences. Today, whatever science are there from is just a part and parcel of that. And there is a huge thing. That's why recently, our government of India has also brought the project Gyan Bharatam. That is manuscripts, digitalization, preservation and conservation, and also sharing of knowledge. Lot of manuscripts are there. And knowledge, abundant knowledge is there in those manuscripts. Now we need to read those manuscripts. We need to learn them. We need to put it into use. And at the same time, we need to protect them for future generations. But now, due to various reasons, we are not able to focus on our own indigenous traditional systems, knowledge systems. That's why we are not connecting back to our roots, which is very rich. And especially India was Vishwaguru. Many peoples, we had oldest universities in the world, Takshashila, Nalanda, huge libraries where people did not see any written document we had, but we did not document. And you see the other countries today, which they are talking about rich documentation, they always documented because their tradition was always a documented tradition. But in India, the traditional tradition was always the oral tradition. The ancient knowledge, it was transferred through oral tradition, recitation, remembering. right? That's how we transfer our indigenous knowledge from generations to generations precisely, even documented also. They couldn't, transfer the knowledge, but oral tradition, then over a period of time, through oral tradition, we also had substitute, not substitute, as a supplement. We have documentary evidence. So that's why we need to connect back to roots. Then only we will understand how it is important. Today we are talking about nature. Today we are talking about environment, protection of environment, conservation of environment, conservation of species. What will happen if one species go away? Other entire planet is getting affected because that species has some purpose on this planet. They are contributing to the overall process of the planet. Now, who will take over? Many species are becoming extinct today, right? So many species have become endangered. Many species have become vulnerable. Now, who will do their work? Who will do their job if they become extinct? Now, that is big question, right? Every species has got its own role. Now, who will do that? Now, we can say, no, we don't bother about them, but they are there for a purpose on this planet. They are not just living like us. Many humans are there without any purpose. Of course, they have a purpose, but they never identified their purpose in their life. So they just keep wandering. They don't have any purpose. Whatever, it comes on their way, they do it without any sense, without any purpose. But other species are not like, they are there for a purpose and they fulfill their purpose and they leave this world. They come to in this world, they meticulously follow. Suppose earthworm is there. What it is doing? It is creating pores in the earth, right? So that earth doesn't become hard. So it keeps drilling holes because it penetrates, moves into the deeper. So it forms pores. This porous soil becomes loose, and then it has the ability of retention of water and other bacteria, viruses that are useful for plant growth and decomposition, and also in conversion of nutrients and other organic and inorganic matter into essential nutrients for the plants so that they can grow. Now, see, and there are insects, they also help in control of other. We have a food cycle where we have predators, right? Because all species have to be balanced, natural, right? So we have tigers that feed on carnivorous and also herbivorous animals. And we have herbivorous animals that feed on plants so that plants population is in control. And we have other marine mammals that prey on both plants and animals. So like that, everything is controlled. Now, except the human population, across the world, everything is in control. Now, only human population is exploding like a bomb, right? And India is the largest population. India has ranked top 1, having the huge population next to China. Now, China is in the second position. And no other population has increased. We have seen from human beings, from its knowledge, no other population, species population has exploded like human population. Why humans are exploding? Keep on growing. That is creating an imbalance on the planet because we have limited resources. We cannot say God is giving, we are reproducing. No, we cannot do that, right? God has not told you to reproduce, start on reproducing as an you become productive, reproductively active. You cannot go on a reproducing spree, right? You have knowledge, you have you can take your own decision. So you have to be conscious of the world in you are, where you are residing. You have limited resources, you need to take care of the resources. And when resources are limited, right, we need to balance the consumption also. Because we'll be running shortage of resources, right? If we go on exploding like this. That's why endemics, pandemics come to control the population. Otherwise, who will control this explosion? So nature will automatically balance. But why to wait for the nature to control us? Now nature has its own ways and means to control, right? So through floods, through famines, nature has its own way to control the population. But why can't we control? We claim ourselves are intellectual, superior beings over all other species on the planet. 8.4 billion species or million species on the planet. We claim ourselves superior. Then why someone has to come and control us? Do we don't have control on ourselves? Can we not exercise control on ourselves and control our population? Why we need to have 10, 20, 30 children, right? Can't we limit ourselves with 1, 2, or 3, maximum 3? Why we need to have dozens and dozens and dozens of children? And they again replicate dozens. What is happening? And we cannot say God has given me dozens and dozens. So I am producing dozens and dozens. Now, why you are worried again? Why you are blaming someone and why you are worried? If God has given, then He will only take care. He or she will take care. Now, why you are worried? Again, why you are crying on each and everyone? That someone else is not providing food and all. Whatever you get, then if you are ascribing everything to God, then whatever good or bad also you should ascribe to God, right? When whatever good is happening, then you take the credit. Whatever is bad is happening, then you blame the God. And why this kind of logic comes? So anyway, we are going out of topic because to make this philosophically understand, we need to little bit deviate from the topic. But we need to understand there are limited resources on the planet. Why we are discussing is we cannot go on explosion. We cannot have protection. Such a protection where there are no resources. Now, how you will feed this entire huge population? And especially when this huge population is unproductive. How many of them are productive? To what extent they are productive? And how this population is protecting the nature and environment? How these are protecting 3%? Now we don't have 3% of fresh water. It is less than 1%, 1 to 1.5%. And that also, most of the fresh water is in the form of glaciers, right? And those are also getting melted due to global warming. We see poles, Antarctica, Arctica, and Himalayas are melting. So sea levels are rising. coastal areas are getting submerged into the oceans because water level is rising. And fresh water, these glaciers are freshwater sources. These rivers are freshwater sources. They are getting polluted due to industrial waste, human waste. Now, what is this happening? We are destroying our own world. We are destroying our own pure water, and then we have to again pay for everything. And it's not as easy. You pollute, and pollution is easy, polluting is easy, but purifying it takes lots of resources, lots of efforts, lots of time. In the very first place, why to pollute, right? We can keep it clean, right? Why to pollute them? And this is stupidity, right? Polluting, again, purifying it. To what extent we can purify? You cannot purify it to the extent of 100%. First of all, we are polluting them and then purifying them. It is a stupid thing that we are doing. So now, can we call ourselves as superior, intellectually superior, clever, or dumb fools? We all should ponder, right? Are we clever? Are we really clever? This is a foolish act, right? We cannot call ourselves as clever because we are doing all kinds of foolish acts. We are destroying our own nature and we are claiming ourselves as superior, clever, intelligent. But what we are actually doing, we are destroying, we are polluting our own environments, and we are polluting our own water, soil, and we are destroying our forest, cutting down our trees, vegetation. So they are habitats they are the rich biodiversity zones where most of the species survive. So their habitats are lost. That means the species are also lost. They become extinct. Again, who will do their job on this planet? They are also very much essential. That gap creates a lot of diseases again, because that gap is there. Like human population, some other species, when that species is lost, that means they are also consuming some other species, right, for their survival. So when that species is lost, the imbalance is created in the nature. Now that who will control? Of course, nature has its own mechanism. Some other will take over. But again, it will be a burden on that species. So it is creating an imbalance, no matter the compensation that happens. But again, there is a burden. We are disturbing the order on the planet. That's why it is very much essential. That's why today, when we are talking about 100% preventable, suicide is 100% preventable, rabies is 100% preventable. But still, why? Why we are not able to prevent? We are so much clever. We know that it is preventable. Why we are not preventing? It is lack of our consciousness, lack of our commitment, lack of our accountability that we are not able to prevent. So once we are consciously aware, we are taking efforts, then we can prevent these. So it is that's why this year theme also, right? You, me, and what is the next one? You, me, and I need you all to respond in chat box. Community, right? Very good. So we all together, we all need to come together. You, me, and community. Together, we all need to come together to prevent rabies, to prevent suicides, to prevent all kinds of human-induced disasters. So with this, we will end today's session. Thank you everyone for joining us. We request everyone to quickly fill up the feedback form so that you all can get your certificates. Fill all the details, don't leave any details. Fill all the details correctly so that we can generate your certificates. It is from this data only we will be able to generate certificates. So take time. It will be open. The meeting, the form will be open for 10 to 15 minutes, but it will not take much time to fill the form. So we request everyone to fill the form carefully and submit your details. So once again, I wish you all happy rabbit-free day on this occasion of World Rabies Day, Prevention Day, and also this month, World Suicide Prevention Month. So we express our gratitude to all the presenters and participants. Thank you everyone for joining us. So before leaving, we request everyone to quickly fill up the feedback form, which has been raised in the form of votes. So take care. Good night. See you all tomorrow with the same joining link with different commemorations. Take care. Good night.